Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commissioner, with Week 1 update for the 2015 ForrestLand MishMash Fantasy Football League. Of course, I'm excited for another season of scoreboard watching and red zone watching every Sunday, Thursday, and of course Monday. First of all, a quick welcome to our newest member, John Cavalier. Thanks for joining on short notice. Didn't find out till the day of the draft that Tim Mayer would no longer be in the league. Not sure why, but we were able to scramble, and thanks to Jeff for introducing John to the league. Welcome aboard. As we'll talk about in a minute, he did get his first win in the league, first week out, so could be beginner's luck, or we could have a new ringer. We'll have to see. Before we get to the weekly recap, let's talk a little bit about the draft. I know they have a lot of tools to analyze the draft and see who did better, but I got to tell you, every year it gets harder and harder to figure out going into the season who's got a better team. So let's just take a quick look to, quick thing to note, of course, is that, in a two quarterback starting league, that quarterbacks are much more of a premium than in other leagues. So as you can see in the first round, we had, I think, 5 QBs going, 5 running backs in the first round. Then the wide receivers start to come off the board a little bit. It looks like 6 quarterbacks in the top 13, and then Antonio Brown, which is interesting that he's already the #1 receiver picked after not even really being on the radar last year, maybe in the 5th round. So just goes to show in fantasy, it's a year-to-year thing. People who were amazing players 2-3 years ago may not even be on the radar anymore. So, we had an interesting draft, and again, really hard for me to determine who's looking good going into the season. But it was fun, and we just did knock it out in about 90 minutes as usual, so that was nice. So let's take a look at the scoreboard. We're going to start with my game, the Slim Aussies defeating the Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy 157-121. This was the only close game going into Monday night. Ray Finkel had a tentative 18-point lead going into the game. The 2 Monday night games, which was pretty cool, of course. The first game had, let's see, oh my God, I'm spacing here. Who did he have? Oh my God, I'm blanking. Oh, I had DeMarco Murray, I think. So that's what it was. I had DeMarco Murray in the early game. Didn't do much on the ground, but as you can see, had 2 touchdowns, 2 short touchdowns. One was a receiving, one was a rushing touchdown. So DeMarco Murray gets a nice 17 points. And then going into the late game, we had Adrian Peterson for Ray Finkel. And we had Teddy Bridgewater, Mike Wallace going for the Slim Aussies, all on the Vikings. And the Slim Aussies also had Carlos Hyde. And again, going back to my thing with the draft about never knowing who's going to be good, I'll be honest with you, I never heard of Carlos Hyde's name until the draft. But he was listed by the experts, and I went with the experts' opinion, and obviously that worked out. 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. That really sealed the deal. As you can see, Teddy Bridgewater didn't do much, but Mike Wallace had a bunch of short catches, which helped, and Adrian Peterson just didn't do much. So a really close game going into the last game. Turned out to be a blowout, 157-121. And the Slim Aussies get the first win of the year. Back to the scoreboard. Here's something interesting. Again, John Cavalier's Rawhide Super Mules gets their first win. Interesting because the Calvinators were looking real good after the Thursday night opener with Tom Brady's 31 and Gronk's 32. So we had 63 points going into the weekend, but just didn't get enough from anyone else. You see a little bit smattering here and there. Obviously, Deshaun Jackson getting hurt early didn't help. And so in spite of the rocket start for the Calvinators, the Rawhide Super Mules, welcome to the league. They get their first win, 163-144. 163 was 3rd best scoring total of the week. Now we'll talk about the #1 scoring total of the week, the Somerset Stallions. Congratulations to Matthew for having the high points of the week. Obviously, Alex Smith with a great game against the Texans. Have to admit, I wasn't too excited about Phillip Rivers and Alex Smith, but They get 24 and 25 points, respectively. Obviously, a big night for Antonio Brown, set the stage for the weekend. That was on the Thursday game. And, of course, Jason Witten benefiting from the Giants' poor clock management Sunday night. He gets the game-winning touchdown, and the Stallions roll the Cartel 183-115. A couple other games of note. We, of course, have Graceland defeating the Travelers 157-127. Tough day for the Travelers with 0 points from Joe Flacco. Not much from the running backs, as you can see, and a little bit of garbage catch-up time for Julio Jones. Julio Jones, excuse me. Otherwise, that would have been even more of a blowout. But obviously, the Travelers were so far behind that even 36 points from Julio Jones isn't enough to make up. So Graceland gets off the schneid with number 1 pick Andrew Luck getting outscored by rookie Marcus Mariota. And obviously if Mariota can keep that up all year, then Graceland's going to be very happy because Andrew Luck's not going to be that bad all year. That was probably his worst game of the year, first game of the season. So congrats to Graceland for getting 157 points and the win. We also had, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last game to mention is 3rd and Oolong, the defending champ, scoring a nice 165 points. Just a nice even day all around. Only had one player that didn't get double digits. Nothing spectacular. I will say that DeAndre Hopkins was amazing. I remember watching last year when I had Andre Johnson, and every time I watched the Houston game, DeAndre Hopkins was making all the catches and not Andre Johnson. So DeAndre Hopkins is looking like he's pretty nasty, and that's a good pick for 3rd and Oolong, our defending champ, with 32 points from DeAndre Hopkins and just a little bit of good points from everyone else on the team. Chiomes, nice game from Keenan Allen. I think he had like 9 catches. 15 catches for 166 yards, man. Wow, if he would have thrown in a couple touchdowns in there, he would have been, looking for records, but didn't get any touchdowns, so 32 points is nice, but just not enough from anyone else on the team, and 3rd and Oolong gets the win. So taking a quick look in the standings, obviously 5 teams win, 5 teams lose in the first week. We have 3 winners in the Mish division, but obviously 1 week down. Many weeks to go, so it's just the first week. Hope everyone had a great time watching the games and checking the fantasy ticker if they were doing family events like myself. And that's it for the week. Good luck, everyone. Welcome back to another year of fantasy ForrestLand MishMash fantasy football. We are doing the dues a little differently this year. I guess that Tilt company may have gone out of business because now it's DraftKings, I believe. So check your email. Let me know if you didn't get an email to pay your dues online. You should be able to knock it out. Put your 25 bucks in. Do the credit card. It should be easy. No one should have to send paper checks this year. So we're all smart, educated adults who can figure out an online payment system. So hopefully you guys can do that. If you have any problems, let me know. Good luck this year. I hope it's going to be a fun year, and enjoy the ride. Thanks for watching.